I've worked with kids before. I've gone on like a few volunteer trips to Ecuador. That's where I'm from. So just wanted to keep, helping out in the community however I could.
I've always really liked kids, so I thought it would be really fun to sort of get to have time to teach someone because it's for class, but also to be able to interact with kids.
I think it was just mainly the relationship with my learner. I hadn't anticipated getting so close with her, and just like ending up becoming friends. And when it came, like I was ready to drop the program up until December and the end of the semester, and I was saying goodbye, and she's like, "Oh, are you coming back next semester?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am."
Community-based learning as a field emerged in the late 80s and early 1990s and was primarily a response of the university to the world in which it lived and to the context in which it lived. And sort of this reaction or this idea that the only knowledge there is to be gained in the world is not located exclusively within a book and within the walls of an ivory tower institution. That there's a lot to be learned from the experiences of people who don't make it into these gates, and also from the experience just of interaction with difference.
Social justice was coined by a Jesuit in the 1850s, and that to me is really powerful. It is part of our mission statement. It is part of our entire university's kind of work and commitment to the world. It comes a lot from Catholic social teaching, which says that we first must give the preferential option to the poor. So again, thinking about those margins. But again, it's that idea I talked about earlier that everybody has a contribution to make to the common good, but at the same time we have to knock down the barriers that are preventing people to make that contribution.
I think it would be great for more Georgetown students to know about this program. I didn't until a few friends told me about it. And I think it'd be really important because, we have the Jesuit values here of people for others. And I think that I value that beyond the classroom. So I think it's good to get out in the community, give back however you can.
Sursum sort of made me a lot more selfless. Like I knew that there was someone else who was not only relying on me to go, but like someone that I didn't want to hurt her feelings by not showing up or have her think that I didn't want to be there with her. So it's I don't know, it built a sense of responsibility that I didn't really have anywhere else in sort of my Georgetown career.
Have you taken a CBL course at Georgetown?
I'm taking one right now. I tell you, boy. It doesn't serve a purpose to my mission in life. So I'm just taking it for credit to graduate.
Wait a minute. Something's not right here. Is it just me or is something missing?
Yeah, we're doing, well, we don't really know what we're doing, but we're doing a documentary about community-based learning.
About what?
Community-based learning.
Community-based learning.
Or because the field of documentary is so broad, but when you look at what the direction that we're given and the old films, they're all very much kind of a similar format. It's just here's a title card about some background information on some program, talking head interview. This is bad, people.
Community-based learning for me has always been great. And then talking to Rashima, she's just talking about how these white people are just coming in, just glow, doe-eyed, this is.
I grew up 8 miles from here in the southeast area of Washington, D.C. And we consider this like Maryland or Virginia because it's so different from the community that we come from. A small percentage of African Americans, of Latinx people, Asians. I think we all know the majority of people are Caucasian here. Northwest is an uppity area, a rich area, really snobby area. Northwest is for the smart kids. Northwest is supposed to be a safe place, a place of no violence.
yeah, I heard a lot of very bad things about Ward 7 that I would never want to live there or have any of my family live there.
One of the first times I had sort of heard about Ward 7 was when I was taking a taxi to campus when I was moving into Georgetown, and my driver was telling me about DC, and he was telling me how he never takes people to Northeast or anything in that area. And he was saying, in DC, that's what you stay away from. And that's really all I knew about Ward 7 until I started training with DC Reads and spending time there. And I think that I was told to stay away.
We're going to an area that, it's a lot of murders and it's a lot of killings and it's really dangerous, but we really want to help these people out. And she was like, it's 8 miles away from Georgetown, but, it's such a big difference. And I felt very offended because do I look like a violent person that's going to shoot you?
When Rashima talked about it in her interview, too, it was like, they're saying, oh, no, be careful, this is a dangerous neighborhood. And you're like, talking about my home? Right, yeah. You're just trying to insult me right now?
Yeah.
I don't it would feel bad to anyone to hear oh, your home sucks.
Yeah.
Furthers the narrative that you're this great thing to happen to the community. Mm-hmm. And that's, if you're preaching something of we gotta be part of the community and within the community, what you're saying is you can't other them. Mm-hmm. And that's what just sort of we've somewhat run into a little bit.
This idea of kind of looking into issues of altruistic exploitation has to do with, again, that impulse of people who want to do good. I do think that is a human impulse. But in that impulse and in that enactment of trying to do good, do they do harm? It's not that we're saying that everything in our programs is bad or there's nothing worth keeping. We're saying, no, we think there is, and so we need to make sure that we're recognizing the historical identities of the communities with whom we're working, and the primary historical identities of the people who are coming from Georgetown, and Georgetown as a predominantly white institution.
Community-based learning has the potential to go horribly wrong, right? So there is a lot of work that needs to be done, and this is why I said before that we have reflection before, reflection during, and reflection after an experience in community-based learning. And how can I take an approach that is intentionally humble, builds solidarity, and is long-term in its focus?
So we're in the final weeks. I was curious about how you guys are feeling about our progress so far.
I'm definitely worried about access and getting some footage, because the way it stands right now, we're just sort of stuck with interviews and can't just go talking head to talking head because no one wants to watch that.
We had that moment, and we visited Golden Rule, and we felt like that one article where they were in some other neighborhood in DC and someone came up and yelled at them, and I was like, I wish someone had come up and yelled at us, because we were just what are we?
If we were to do a conventional film, especially with the limited access and time that we had, we would definitely, I don't think we would be benefiting the community much. It's a community-based film, a participatory film where we're not directing a film, we're co-directing or co-creating it with a community partner, especially one that had a need for a film. I think that the dynamics of a project like this would be a lot different, because now they're we have an actual cause that we're working on, and we could really use the visibility a film could provide, but we don't have the technical skills or the resources. I feel that's doing something, right?
I think there is stories still to be told, but are we the ones to tell it?
So then what? I mean, it's easy to criticize, it's easy to pick out what's wrong and what's problematic. It's much harder to come up with something that's better.
Our homes that you're coming into, these are the things that we've been dealing with all our lives. And it's you just have people come in and want to make a story, and it's no, we're not going to do it like this. So, my professor asked me this a couple weeks back, and she said, is it okay if somebody else tells your story? Now, no, it's not okay. No, I don't like the way you're telling it. You're telling it all wrong. You're not telling it the way I needed to be told. You're not telling them the most important parts. You're not saying it how I would say it with emphasis. You're not telling them what I want them to know. But, mind you, this is why we work together, for the privilege. This person has the privilege and the voice to put the story on the map, to make it somewhat important. And then I can, you know, put it to where it needs to be, say what it needs to say, but without this person's voice, maybe it would have never came to that platform. So in a way, that's why I said we all contribute to it. No, I don't want you telling my story, but look, what you can do is you can hook me up with the person who will help me tell it and will help other people to see it. And then from there, you know, we can work together. You're not just gonna take all the credit by yourself. You know what I mean? And I think that's happened a lot, but you know, we're gonna work on making that better. I'm happy that we're all working on this, you know, together. It's not just about a specific race, a specific community, you know. And I like that. I think that's what makes it great. I want you to do is uncross your leg, and when she tries to sit and you make a face, you're gonna go like, yeah. You're gonna come. Matter of fact, I want to record you, so you know, stay right here. So I want to record you